Hi, I'm Nicholas Woolwork, CEO of redbrickpropertyforum.com and globally released author of Investing in International Real Estate for Dummies, for the famous For Dummies brand. I'm here today on our care home conversion. I've just done a huge video on an update tour of the site to show you how big it is, 14,500 square foot. Now, as part of that planning process, getting that back to some sort of residential use, car parking is all important. So I want to talk to you quickly about car parking. Now, we've got a number of spaces on site, and as you panned in on the beginning of the shot there, you can see there's car parking all up the side here and all up the back of the building. So follow me up through and I'll talk to you about car parking. Now, these trees are protected by TPOs. TPOs are tree protection orders, means we can't chop them down. We can trim them, which they will need doing because they're huge monstrosities that have never been trimmed and lots of big low branches. So we need to do a bit of trimming, a bit of care, which will help the tree grow and help it perform better. There's a lot of grass area around the tree. So this is all gonna go to some sort of parking arrangement. And I think we've come up with a scheme where the cars actually come around the back of that tree and then join onto the main car parking space over there. So all of this is gonna go. We're retaining most of the garden there, I believe. So, we've got then opening up, we might be able to push that boundary fence back a car parking space if we're lucky. Again, it's all down to the council. We want to make sure that we do something sympathetic. We want to keep as much of the mature trees as possible. I mean, who in their right mind would want to get rid of mature trees that look beautiful on a property? They add value to the property, they add amenity space, they create a nice environment for people that live here. So we want to be sympathetic to those. We want to incorporate them in our scheme. So yeah, we're going to extend this car parking right the way around through these trees. But for your schemes at home, if you're doing development, you might not have thought of the parking. It can be critical, and the attitude of a certain council to parking is really important to know. For example, we got sites down in Reading in Berkshire. The council there are more than happy with parkingless schemes. They don't mind no parking at all, which is kind of shocking. And I think in London boroughs and city centres, there's often a similar attitude. They want to reduce the number of cars parking, the number of movements, the traffic congestion. If anyone knows Reading itself, it's got this IDR, which is a one-way sort of system around Reading. If you don't know it, it's horrific. You can get stuck in it, you don't know where you're going. So they've really got a problem with parking and highways in Reading. And that's the reason they don't want park schemes with lots of parking. However, in places like Newbury, I think Andover wants the full parking requirement for what you're going to build. And certainly if you put in planning, you've got to kind of hang your hat on one theory, and you've got to get a lot of consultants in to write reports. You've got to get a highways report written, a car park management scheme in place. You've got to do architect drawings to show the turning circles of cars, how they can maneuver. You can't just whack in and say we've got this number of spaces. It needs to be well thought out, well planned, well designed, with consultants on board to kind of back you up with the council. If you're going for a parkingless scheme in the nearest city centre, maybe you need to provide a couple of electric bikes. Maybe you need one car as an electric car charge point that is a car share point. Maybe you want to hook into one of the big car share companies and offer them a free space that will service your building. So there's lots of ways of working with parking on your site, but don't forget it. It's something really important to deal with. It's something really important to think about. And if you mess it up, you won't get planning and you will waste months and months of time, with your site then not being able to be developed because you didn't think about your parking. So this video really, if anything, is just to highlight parking as a major requirement for most substantial developments. This one, which is going to be, hopefully 14 apartments, or maybe a sui generis use. There's going to be a fair number of people in each of those buildings. If it's 14 apartments, it could be up to 28 people, it could be a couple in there, it could be a couple with a child in some of the larger ones. So, there'll be a fair number of people here, fair number of cars. You've got to think about that. So, yeah, keep parking at the top of your list when you're thinking about any size development, because it does matter. Parking matters, people. So that's been a little bit of a intro on parking on our new development site here in Andover, 14,500 square foot care home. Definitely needs parking requirements here. We've had to put a lot of planning into that. So I hope that the video's been useful to you guys. I'd love to hear your comments back at home if you've had any parking issues with your sites, or indeed if you've got any questions for me, fire them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer all the comments. I've been Nicholas Woolwork, CEO of redbrickpropertyforum.com and globally released author of Investing in International Real Estate for Dummies. If you haven't bought the book, go and buy it. It's the cost of 15 quid on Amazon, and it's going to be cheaper than a very expensive course. So yeah, please do log on and subscribe to this channel. Please subscribe, hit the bell icon, because then we can show you more interesting videos about this care home conversion. Hope you've enjoyed the video. See you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.